Hi, I'm Corinne with Thompson RV in Pendleton, Oregon. Today I'm standing in a brand new 2022 Glacier Peak F27MKS built by Outdoors RV. So this is one of their models in their fifth wheel lineup. They make the F26RKS, the F27MKS, F27KVS, and then the F28RKS. So when we get questions about these fifth wheels, often people are comparing one or two floor plans in particular. This one gets compared often to the F26RKS because usually people are wanting to stay on the shorter end, right? If you don't have any requirements as far as length, the F28RKS is awesome. It has everything you could possibly want. But when people are trying to keep that length shorter, they often go with the F26RKS because it has an overall length of 30 foot 6 inches. I personally have had that model, and then this one came out a couple years ago and I ordered one of these for myself because I wanted just a little bit more room, slightly different floor plan than my previous F26RKS, and it's only 32 feet tip to tip. So it was well within my comfort range of what I wanted to tow. So I'm going to go into depth on the floor plan so you guys can see the layout of the F27MKS. I'll go do an overview on the outside and then we'll take a look at it with the slide outs in so you can see what it looks like while traveling. But on this video, I'm also going to go into a little bit more depth comparing this to the other models. That way you can kind of, if you're not able to look in one and go between the different models, you can maybe get an idea of what I really loved about this particular model. So one thing that I loved about the F26RKS was, again, just that overall shorter length. The opposing slides were nice because it opened up what would be a rather small fifth wheel and it gave it more space in the living area. But what I really love about this floor plan, it's a mid-entry, so you get a really massive kitchen. So it's not an overly long trailer like we talked about. I mean, the best kitchen obviously is going to be the KVS model or the RKS model. But when trying to stay a little shorter, you often give up the counter space. And this model has so much cooking counter space that I just really loved it, along with overhead cabinet space. And as you can see, when we come around here, we have a bank of 3 drawers, the spice rack, and then you also get an additional pantry area here. Not to mention, like I said, there's just ample counter space in this floor plan. As with all of them, you're going to get the knife rack behind the stove, the glass cover on the stove, which gives you extra counter space when you're not actually cooking something. And then because this is a titanium series, you're going to get the stainless steel appliances. You're also going to get the fancier stove that has a push button ignition for the pilot in the oven as well as on top. In the titanium series, you also get the raised panel cabinetry. So rather than a piece of paneling inside this door, it's actually a piece of solid hardwood. You're going to see knots and everything in this wood, and that is because it's real wood, and so those give it character. In the kitchen, you also get a flip-up countertop extension. Now, one thing you don't have is the garbage can chute, which comes in many of the other models, but there is space down here, and they even include a garbage can. While I have this open, you also have an access panel to access your water pump as well as your water heater. And then you've got access on this side as well. We often get asked where the plugins are. You've got a plug-in right here on this side of the countertop and then 2 in the upper cabinets. The high arc faucet. And then your control panel is going to be right here when you walk in the entry door. The other thing too on this model that I get asked often when people are able to walk in them is, why is this wall blank? So I actually hung my coat here because when I used mine, I found this to be extremely helpful with, 3 little boys. When we walked in, you can hang your coat right up. If you want, there's a little flip up countertop extension here. You can set your phone, your keys. They even gave you a 110 plug-in if you need to charge your phone. Moving around, you get the same mountain dinette that you would get in all the other models with the 2 big pot and pan drawers, and they do have the new lock on them. The mountain dinette, that's what Outdoors RV calls their extra large dinette. So rather than a U-shaped dinette where your table's this big and there's nowhere to put your feet, this can comfortably sit 4 adults, and it's huge. My boys and I play a lot of games, and this table's really nice when you're playing board games, doing a puzzle, whatever. In the titanium, all of these are going to be wood. You're going to get the blackout roll shades. They're the slow rise shades. If you have any questions on titanium versus mountain, I'm not going to go into everything at this point, but I do have a video on our YouTube channel that you can check out if you have questions as far as what you get on a titanium over a mountain series. So moving around here, this model comes standard with the theater seating. As you can tell, this model also, one thing I liked about it a little bit more than the F27MKS was the TV viewing location. I don't watch a lot of TV when I'm on the road, but occasionally we want to pop in a DVD, and this is on a swing arm, so you can get it nice and parallel to where you're sitting. It does come standard with the theater seating, but if you do have little kids or other people you need to sleep, we can option in the sleeper sofa. Typically, I would recommend the theater seating just because it's really comfortable and you're able to recline. It has little cup holders, even has a little, storage area there for remotes. But what I did notice when I had mine, I did need the sleeper sofa. What I enjoyed about it was that I could sit in this corner and have my legs up on the couch. I could sit sideways on the couch to watch TV. So that was kind of a cool feature that I really hadn't thought about with the sleeper sofa, but I did like it. So I think either way, you can't go wrong, again, with the TV location. Over here, you're going to get some extra counter space. You also get extra storage. It's great for DVDs, games, books. In here, this one is extra large. I homeschool, and so when we were on the road, I was able to organize all the kids' notebooks and books and pencils and everything in these, along with all of the DVDs and the games and everything. The 110 fireplace, this is also optional. If you do not get it, you would have 2 cabinet doors right here. But what you will find is that when you open it up, because it's at an angle, it's not the best use of space. So I've had a couple people that were on the fence with whether or not to get the fireplace. And a couple years ago, I had one that didn't have it. They were able to look, and it just didn't make sense because you weren't really gaining much extra storage. Again, that's an option. So if you don't want the fireplace, you can do that. But I find that especially when I go to the Oregon coast and it's damp, and maybe I'm at a park and I can plug in so that this will work because it's only 110. It won't work off your batteries, just 110 power. I find that because it's a drier heat than my furnace, because LP has a lot of water content. So when you're running your furnace, you're going to get a little more moisture in the air. When you couple that with being at the coast or somewhere that's humid, it's hard to dry out, especially like my kids, get their feet wet, their socks wet. So I would be able to line up everything in front of the fireplace, kick it on, and then that way it would dry out clothing, shoes, things like that. So I find that that's pretty much the only time I ever use my fireplace is when we go to the beach, but it is really handy to have when you do need it. Moving back through the kitchen, you get the 8 cubic foot Norcold refrigerator. This runs off of 110 and gas, and it also has the cold weather kit on the back. So when temperatures get too cold to where it would trick your fridge into thinking that it doesn't need to work, that heat pad turns on, and so this will work in really cold temperatures, which is cool. So as I think I've probably said in a few other videos, I feel like I'm starting to repeat myself, but the F26RKS, the 27 KVS, 28, and this 27 all have the exact same bedroom bathroom setup. So I'll go in and I'll show you what that looks like, but that is identical in all the models. Then we'll pop the slide outs in and we'll see what it looks like when you're going down the road. And then we'll also take a peek at the outside. Here in the bedroom, this is a titanium, so you get the upgraded titanium mattress. You also get the solid surface countertops next to the bed, as well as the reading lights. Next to the bed, you're also going to find a 110 outlet on each side, as well as the 12 volt and USB ports for CPAP machines or whatever, charging your phone at night. There's also a USB 12 volt and 110 receptacle under the dinette, as well as at the back of the trailer where you've got that little window and the piece of countertop. There's a charging station right there as well. So they're all over the trailer for whatever you need to charge. you get the wardrobe closet slide. This is awesome if you're going to be on the road for any length of time, or like me, you've got more than just a couple of people going with you. There is so much hanging space in here. And then what I have found is that if my clothes hang down to here, I can also line the bottom with shoes or folded jeans or something like that. With the wardrobe cabinets above and beside the trailer, there's a lot of storage. I mean, this isn't a gigantic fifth wheel by any means, but they've really utilized the space to be able to store a lot without being a full profile, huge fifth wheel. You'll see a remote right over there on the wall. That will run the Max Air Deluxe vent fans. Those are an option in all of the Outdoors RV units. We option them into everything because they're a must. But you'll also see right up here where there is a blank receptacle, and that is for if you decide you want to add the bedroom air conditioner. So all Glacier Peaks come with 50 amp service, so you can add a bedroom air if you live in an area where you feel like that might be necessary. The other thing in the titanium is going to be the 12-volt TV up on the wall. It is sideways to the bed, but it's on a swing arm. So really when you pull it out, you get a really good TV viewing location. It doesn't have to stay static up against the wall. It's 12 volts, it's gonna run off of battery power, and has a DVD player in the side. Over here, you've got a pocket door that leads into the bathroom. You can also get there from the hallway, so there's a double entrance into the bathroom. They give you extra storage here for linens, cosmetics, whatever you want to put in there. And then in the bathroom, there's a lot of counter space. They redesigned this about 4 years ago, and it added this whole extra chunk of counter space, an extra cabinet, and there's a lot of storage under the sink. In the titanium, you're also going to get the vanity mirror, and it does light up if you're plugged into 110. And they do have a medicine cabinet up here made out of solid wood. Another feature I like about the Glacier Peak is that they do the rounded shower door. So that's really nice because it doesn't open up into your bathroom. One thing you will want to note is you definitely want to have that latched before traveling down the road. Toilet paper holder, extra towel hooks, and then a porcelain toilet. With the slide out in, you can squeak by the dinette right here and access everything, counter space, all of your cabinetry. You can't quite get this open all the way, and then you can't access the back portion, but you can still get into the fridge, grab a water, make yourself a sandwich, use the restroom. Everything's accessible with the slide out in. So here on the outside, one of the other cool features of the F27MKS is these 2 extra storage compartments. So if you remember, when we were in the inside, that TV and that cabinet sits at an angle, which created some dead space on this portion of the trailer. And Outdoors RV decided to give you extra access. So at the end of this video, I have a video of a customer that was loading up this with his tools and boots and all sorts of cool stuff. I'll attach that at the end of this video. So you've got a light in here, you've got shelving, the rubberized diamond plate. And then on this one over here, nice big storage area. I don't know if we have any golfers out there, but I actually put in golf clubs and we just tied them off, which was kind of cool. If it was me, if I was going to do anything too tall, I think I would put a couple anchors so that you can kind of strap it down. I've had other people that have built shelving in here because, as you can see, it's actually really tall. It'd be great for fishing rods or all sorts of different things that would maybe you would need a little bit extra space. On the rear, because it's a titanium, you have the backup camera. The titanium and the mountain in the Glacier Peak, they're both gonna come with the 15K air conditioner. And Outdoors RV just recently upgraded the TV antenna to the WineGuard 360 Plus. So all we have to do, it's all pre-wired to the inside. We can actually add the gateway router now. So if you need to work from the road or you just want internet access, we have that option, and it's really easy because they pre-wired it. We order all of ours with the rear receiver hitch. This is good for up to 250 pounds for bicycles or anything that you want to put into this receiver hitch, like a hitch haul a generator, things of that nature. Titanium series is going to come with the backup lights, high gloss fiberglass exterior. And then as we come around here, the Titanium series also comes with the slide out toppers. So even if you do get a Mountain series, you can add the backup camera and you can add the slide out toppers. Some of the other features are going to be Titanium specific that can't be added, but those two things are something that we add often to Mountains. Right here, you have the cord, the twist lock cord plugs into here, and that is 50 amp service, satellite and cable hookups. You also, on all the fifth wheels, you get 2 gray tanks. And on this particular model, one of them is right here. The Titanium comes with the frameless dual pane windows. Over here is where you're going to attach your sewer hose to dump the black and the gray tanks. But the valves are up in the front compartment, so I'll show you that here in a minute. You do have a nice light here in case you have to do the dumping in the dark. This is part of your big pass-through storage, magnetic latches, thick insulated doors. On this side, you also have your Santa flush, which is your black tank flush. So once you've dumped your black and your gray, I always do it last. You're gonna flush that till it comes clear. So that's gonna rinse out that black tank. But then if you let it go long enough, it's also gonna rinse out your sewer hose. This is your city water hookup. So if you're in a park and they have city water, you can hook up your water hose and your water regulator to this, and then you bypass the pump entirely, so you're not pumping off of your tank. At that point, you'd just be working off of city pressure. This is the outside shower. Instead of having a shower hose like they used to do, they now have a quick disconnect hose versus like having a shower wand. These are your low point drains. You're gonna wanna use those when winterizing. And then this little hatch right here, you open that up because if you have your hoses, if you're in a park and you have them hooked up, you don't want to have to leave this door open. So you can pop this out, put your hoses up and through, and that way you can have this closed. Over here, you've got your auto leveling system. So you can auto level the whole unit, and that does come on Mountain and Titanium. So different than the trailers where it only comes on the Titanium series, in the fifth wheels, auto leveling comes standard on everything. This is access to your propane tanks. Here in this front storage compartment is where you have your valves for the black and the gray tank. You have that additional gray tank that I pointed out in the rear, but this one is going to control the one that's right there in front of the axles. This is also a really nice big compartment to store stuff, and it also has a light. All of the fifth wheels come standard with the More Ride pin box, which is going to give you some suspension, so you're not going to get the chucking like you would get with just a standard pin box. And they all come with the fiberglass front cap, and it does have an integrated hitch light. One thing to note about the Glacier Peak is that it's what we consider a mid-profile fifth wheel. So unlike some of the big 30, 40 footers out there that have the big front nose, this is going to be a mid-profile. You're going to get better gas mileage if you're concerned about that sort of thing, and just an altogether a little bit better tow. You also get a better turning radius. So with short box today, the Ford and the Chevy GMC, if you go with what they're considering a standard cab, we used to call it a short box, a 6.5 foot bed, you do not need a slider hitch because of the way this is angled. On all of the Dodges, preferably a long box, but if you do go with a short box, they make slider hitches, but just for the Dodge, and that's because the axle placement is farther forward than on Ford and Chevy. So it's a common misconception that if you have a short box, you have to go with a slider. It's not the case on the Ford or the Chevy. Right here, you have the external ZAMP solar hookup. So this would be to run a portable panel that you can set out and follow the sun. The portable panels all come with their own solar charge controller. With that being said, Outdoors RV pre-wires the roof for up to 510 watts of solar. So you can do 370 watt solar on the roof. That would run through a charge controller that would be right above the bed. So that is an option. Right here, this is going to be your battery location. As you can see, this customer went with 2 of the Battleborn lithium heated batteries. The factory is working on extending that space just a little bit because we're really close to being able to fit 4 Battleborn lithiums in there. You can do 4 6-volt AGMs, but the lithiums are just a little bit different dimension. So they've measured this, and hopefully by 2023, we can even do 4 of the Battleborns in there. This is the other side to your pass-through storage. This side's a little bit wider because on the other side you did have the plumbing and all that. You get the table. I don't know if you can see that in there, but there's a latch and there's a specific spot for a folding table, which is really cool if you like to barbecue or you just want to have something out underneath your awning. It's all rubberized diamond plate. Everything's fully enclosed and heated, so all of the holding tanks, the floor, so everything is built for cold weather. If you've done any research on the Outdoors RV, you might already know this, that's exactly what they're built for, is cold weather, hot weather, extra insulation. Over here, you've got access underneath to your plumbing. You have that on the other side as well. And then because this trailer is getting ready to leave, we include a 15-foot Dominator sewer hose with the clear elbow, water hose 25 foot, water regulator, and then we give you both power cord adapters. So because the Glacier Peak is a 50 amp service, there are some older parks that only have 30 amp service. And then let's say you just need to plug it into an extension cord or something like that. We give you another adapter to go from 30 down to 110. The only thing is if you have 50 amp service and you include the second bedroom air, by the way, that's not a factory option. They pre-wire it for bedroom air, but the air conditioner will have to actually be put on at the dealership. But if you have 50 amp service and you're not plugged in to the 50 amp service, that bedroom air conditioner won't have any power. So if you are plugged into 30 amp and your bedroom air doesn't work, that's why. So you have to have the full 50 to get that. Out under the awning is electric and it is wrapped in metal to protect the fabric. You also have exterior speakers. On the inside, you've got a CD, DVD, and Bluetooth radio. That will also work to these speakers outside, or you can turn them off. So if you're in a park and you're watching a movie inside, you just turn off the outside speakers. You've got a 110 outlet right here under the awning. You've got the grab bar handle, the triple aluminum step. Because this is a titanium and it has the frameless windows, you get the upgraded window in the door. This is going to be your water heater, so you have access to that. Remember, to winterize, you had access from the kitchen, so that's what this looks like on the outside. All of the Outdoors RVs come with the MoreRide CRE 3000 suspension, the heavy-duty shackles with greasable zerts. They also come with the KYB off-road shocks. So you're gonna get a really good ride on an Outdoors RV compared to a lot of other models out there, simply because of the good suspension, not to mention they custom build all of their frames. So unlike all the other manufacturers that just purchase their frames from Lippert, Outdoors RV builds their frames, and each floor plan has a frame designed specifically for that floor plan. So that's something really important to note. They do the Goodyear Endurance Load Range E tires. Right here, you're gonna have your water tank fill, and that's an 80-gallon fresh water tank. That right there is just your vent for the range hood. This is access to the back of your refrigerator, furnace access should you need it. And then we're back at this storage door, and that wraps up the outside. I'll do a quick walkthrough on the inside just so you can see the whole floor plan at once. But if you guys have any questions, we have a lot of different YouTube videos. So there's one that explains all the differences and upgrades on a titanium series. I have them on the other Glacier Peak models. That way you can compare different models. But if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to myself or one of the guys here at Thompson RV and we can answer any questions you might have.